Mr. Beak's math class. Mr. Beak's math class. Yeah! Woo! All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me, Mr. Beak, for another rousing edition of a math lesson. Today we're going to add and subtract inequalities. Real quick reminder, inequalities mean the less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, that type stuff, right? And we have certain circles when we graph. These ones are called open circles and they're filled in. These ones are going to be closed circles and they're filled in a certain way. Okay, how I remember is got that line, this extra drawing for stuff, and this is extra drawing for filling in those bubbles. Okay, if we're taking a look at our learning scales, hopefully that we're all in a 3 or a 4 range, mastering this stuff, getting it down. You know, mistakes happen, but as long as you kind of know the steps and know what you're doing, that's what we're looking for. We're going to solve this warm-up real quick. This first off is an equation, right? And so how we would do that is we just want to get x all by itself to the other side, right? So all I would do here is subtract 1. That cancels and you're done, right? If I skip over to number 3, right? Draw this down and we're going to add 3 to both sides. If I'm going too fast, just slow to the video down and stop it. But that should be super review, okay? And so that's what we're going to do, except now with equal signs, we're going to do inequalities, okay? Now, you'll be relieved to hear that it's kind of the same steps. So there's what you're going to learn. Let's just look at a problem here, okay? Bunch of stuff there. We're going to take a look at this problem. It says solve this inequality. And most of us are going to solve it the same way, but now we're going to have an extra step of graphing it. Because there's going to be a whole bunch of answers, not just a single answer, which an equal sign has, okay? I still like to do this half, this line down the middle, to show that this half and this half should be equal as far as our steps, okay? But the math stuff is the same. We're going to do the inverse operation. And so if I see a -6, well, that's just going to be a +6 to both sides. And I get x, and I get -4, and I'm happy that I got the right numbers. Now I got to worry about the signs. A lot of people might just put equals and call it good. But that is not, in fact, what we're doing. We're not doing an equals anymore. We're now doing an inequality. And so, if you're adding and subtracting, the sign will always kind of just follow down and stay the same way. Eventually, we're going to add more things, but adding and subtracting, the sign stays the same. Okay? And so if I graph it, I'm always going to graph just real nice and simple, easy ones. I just put the important number right in the middle. I do one on the left and one on the right. In this case, one on the left is -5 and -3. If you think about a number line, all the negative numbers are down here. All the positive numbers are down here. So we just have to, you know, put the right one down. Okay? Think about my sign. That one's a closed dot. It's filled in. And if the x is on the left-hand side, which it is, it's going to follow that arrow. And so that's the way that I'm going to shade all the numbers that are bigger than -4. Okay? Let me just kind of skip down. I'm gonna skip down to number 2 here. I wonder if I can just drag this down a little bit. Yeah! Look at that. Moving numbers. All right. On this one, that my h is on my right-hand side. Well, the math steps are still the same as far as adding 3. And so those cancel out. And I'm going to get, I'll just write the answer way down there. It's 0. But my sign, I added, subtracted, it didn't change, right? So you got a couple options. If you want to graph that, you can. We're going to put just 0 right in the middle. Super easy, -1 and 1. And this one has an open circle. If you're following my little, it follows the way of the arrow, you would think that you're going to do this one out here. But we're actually not going to do that one because it's on the opposite side. We have to shade the opposite arrow. Okay? And so that is what we're going to shade. If you want to do it all in one color, there you go. Okay? If you are bent on, hey, I really want to have the variable on the left-hand side, well, then just do that. But then just know the mouth opens towards the 0 on this one if you draw some teeth on it. And so the mouth opens towards it. Remember, it wants to eat the bigger number, which is 0 in this case. All right? Some words there. Here's some more problems here, all right? let's say I had letter A, and I'm going to just solve that real quick. Now I have a plus. And so the inverse operation of plus is, of course, minus. And so you're just minusing to both sides, and you're going to get y, and you're going to get -3. If you're still not sure on how to add, subtract those integers, those numbers, just punch it in a calculator. There's no shame in that. And in this case, the sign stayed the same. So if I wanted to graph it, I have -3 right in the center. -4 is smaller, -2 is bigger. And this one has a filled in circle, a closed circle. And it's following the way of the arrows, which means it's following that. It's all the numbers that are less than -3. Okay? Let me do maybe one more. If I'm taking a look at these ones, let me drag number 4 down to its own kind of fresh page so that's all you can see. Okay? Let me go one more. Oops. A little bit too much. There we go. We're doing number 4. Now this one adds a step, but if you notice my U is on this left-hand side, so I'm just going to keep it that way, and I want all the numbers over on that side. Okay? And so, first thing I'm going to do, oh, I notice, hey, the 9 and the 6, those make -3. So really it's -3 plus U. So sometimes we have a step of simplifying first, combining like terms, and then you add 3. And then now I'm going to get U still facing the same way, and that's going to be 1. Okay? And so when I graph that, just put 1 right there, 0 and 2. Take a look at your line and your dot. That one's going to be an open dot, and it's all the numbers that are less than U, so it shades this way. Okay? I'm going to call it good there for a lesson. But if you need to pause it or rewind, just watch it again, and all the examples should be there. So hope this makes sense. Hope you guys are learning a lot. Take care.
Mr. Beak's math class. Mr. Beak's math class.